If you had $1 for every wacky, creative idea that ever popped into Bob Gorrie's head, you'd have enough to solve the global debt crisis. Bob is a rare breed of man whose left and right brain are equally balanced, sometimes yielding fantastic results, sometimes disastrous, but never boring. Born in Toronto, Canada, some say that Bob was born with advertising in his blood. Not a far stretch, considering that the Gorrie family has been well established in the point-of-purchase advertising industry for over 129 years. Bob was the second of 4 children. His early years were vintage Leave It to Beaver, with Bob being the beeve and pretty much driving his parents to despair. His curious mind constantly led him into trouble, but his creative invention always helped him out of it. Bob attended York Mills Collegiate, where, when not in the principal's office, he excelled in sports. There wasn't a sport he didn't love to play and compete in, including hockey, swimming, baseball, tennis, water skiing, snow skiing, football, and track and field. Unfortunately, so much energy went into his passion for sports that all he ever could muster academically was a gentleman's C, and as a result, he was continually grounded from all sports until the academics started to show improvement. In 1967, Bob graduated from York Mills Collegiate and headed off to his next challenge, Ryerson University, where he enrolled in business administration, majoring in advertising and retail. He wasn't 2 days into the program when a switch went on, and he knew that he'd found his passion and a lifelong career. He had found a world where his left brain could live with his right, and maybe something good would come of it. Determined not to be considered one of the Silver Spoon Club, Bob declined involvement in the family business upon completing his studies. Instead, he joined the Toronto office of New York's Norman Craig & Kumel Advertising, where he fell into the exciting world of advertising. In 1973, Bob finally joined the family business, but in the Montreal office, where he came under the guidance of George Halliburton, his mentor, tormentor, and friend. Having spent a lifetime in POP and being very involved with Popeye, George taught Bob the importance of giving back to the industry. George had a profound influence on Bob, a gift for which he is forever grateful, and the motivation behind Bob's desire to mentor and teach young people considering a career in marketing. Bob worked for George for 5 years before returning to the head office in Toronto to take over the responsibility of sales manager. At this point, the company began its transition from expendable display orientation to broad-based marketing solutions and to more multi-material permanent display. In 1986, Gorrie Marketing outgrew its plant in Toronto and built a new facility in Mississauga to service its expanding, largely Canadian customer base. The facility houses the creative team, project managers, account executives, research department, model shop, and plant. In 1989, Bob purchased the business from family and shareholders and began the process of repositioning the company to lay the groundwork for Canada's top in-store creative solution company. Under Bob's leadership, Gorrie Marketing expanded to the States to service the growing needs of its brand customers. It was becoming evident that the strength of retailers had become a new driving force for producers and suppliers like Gorrie Marketing. The company took 2 initiatives that positively affected the business. The first was to focus attention on retail, not forgetting about their brand customers, but becoming very knowledgeable about the needs and wants of their retail partners. Gorrie hired more retail-focused designers and pursued opportunities with retailers. This had a synergistic effect on Gorrie's brand business, as the brands were confident in their creative solutions based on their knowledge of the retail space. The second move was to broaden the company's supply base beyond Canadian borders. Bob forged alliances in Mexico, China, India, and Brazil, initially in procurement, but later in manufacturing as well. Very few companies were charting these waters at the time, which meant there were ups and downs in the beginning, but the end result was a strongly connected affiliation of capable suppliers who understand the level of expertise demanded by the North American and European standards. At the end of the decade, Gorrie's business mix was 50% retail and 50% USA-based sales, and they were poised for the new era of shopper marketing. Bob believes that the point-of-purchase industry has shaped him and given him the opportunity to spend a lifetime being passionate about what he does. Bob's passion for the POP industry led him to serve on Popeye Board of Directors under John Koala. One of his mandates was to set up the Canadian Popeye chapter, which he achieved with the assistance and cooperation of a number of other Canadian POP professionals. When Bob isn't busy with his company or giving back to the industry, he lends his sage advice and expertise to students looking to enter the in-store marketing industry. He lectures and sponsors intern employment opportunities for students both at Ontario College of Art and Design and Ryerson University, from which he graduated. He is currently in the process of writing a book, which he hopes will act as a resource text and teaching manual for young people trying to break into the POP, promotion, and shopper marketing industry. Bob's love of sports has never waned since the days when his exhausted parents would enroll him in any activity just to wear him out. He is an avid believer in the importance of sport to instill team spirit in young people today. It is with great pleasure that he has donated many years volunteering on boards of clubs in executive roles in the hopes that children will learn the importance of team effort, managing success, coping with failure, and the essence of fair play. To date, efforts to wear him out have been unsuccessful. He still loves the spirit of competition, whether it be heli-skiing, flying, whitewater canoeing, golfing, scuba diving, and cycling with his son-in-laws. His many forays into Canada's north, both skiing and canoeing, have taught him the splendor of North America's spectacular north, and he has become a passionate environmentalist, seeking to raise funds and awareness through the Canadian National Park Association to preserve the gift we've all been given for future generations. Bob's wife, Katie, will tell you that his company is his mistress, but she says it with a twinkle in her eye, because at least it keeps him out of trouble. She won't let him retire because she can't imagine what that left brain, right brain mind would get up to if he ever had time on his hands. Katie supports Bob both as a businessman and as a father. Together, they have 4 adult children: Rob, Ashley, Christy, and Stephanie. Bob Gorrie, inducted into the Popeye Hall of Fame, December 8, 2011.